But some people actually watch the horror movie because they really want to get excited and get worked up emotionally. But I think that, and some of them actually contain occult material in it, or they contain things in it that are.
How about Father Chad? Watching horror movies.
I think it largely depends on the nature of the horror movie and what the person's intention is behind it. If it's done in order to just have a certain level of entertainment and you're not there to get yourself all worked up emotionally and
Yeah.
stuff like that, I'm a little bit more benign, and provided there's not something that's disordered in the thing. But some people actually watch the horror movie because they really want to get excited and get worked up emotionally. But I think that, and some of them actually contain occult material in it, or they contain things in it that are not healthy for us psychologically. So I'm more concerned about the psychological impact, even though those things can open the door to the demonic. They don't necessarily do so by nature.
What specific guidance would you have to give Catholics in the Philippines on engaging in spiritual warfare and discernment?
Yeah, there's two parts. If you're talking about discerning, trying to discern, if there's spiritual, what you're combating or what you're dealing with in your spiritual life or in your day-to-day life is spiritual in nature, that is diabolic in nature. There's two ways that you can actually do that. The first is, and this is the thing I recommend the most, is asking Our Lady of Sorrows. So just asking her on a daily basis, reveal to me if this is spiritual in nature, and if it is, what the nature of the demon is that I'm dealing with. Because in spiritual warfare, precision is everything. So when you can understand precisely the type of demon that you're combating, it's much easier to combat him. And a lot of times they'll create diversions in one area of your spiritual life when they're actually in another. And so you want to just ask Our Lady of Sorrows to reveal. It comes in the form of an ordinary grace. It's not going to be like some supernatural revelation. You'll just get a grace to see this is what the problem is. So the first thing is, it's like any kind of warfare. You need reconnaissance. So you need to ask Our Lady, what's the nature of the demon that I'm dealing with? And then as far as engaging in the spiritual warfare, once you kind of find out what that is, but even if you're just trying to keep yourself protected in the spiritual battle, or you're just trying to keep your family protected, the most efficacious thing that we have discovered in the last 2 years, even though I've been doing solemn exorcisms for 17 years, the thing that we have found the most effective is that what we're discovering is that most people lack an elementary discipline in their spiritual life. And by elementary, I mean elementary, but what does that actually look like? Well, what we're discovering is that demons are attacking people precisely because people are what we call soft targets. They're the types of people who they don't have good discipline. They don't have a lot of virtue. They're not really doing that much in their spiritual life. And so the demons are attacking them because the person the person is less likely to respond in some type of a crushing manner to the demon. So they type people like that. Whereas if a person has discipline, and what's that discipline? What we kind of noticed it is, and this is why we recommended doing the Angelus 6, noon and 6, every single day, and then saying the prayers of the Auxilium Christianorum. So if a person did that every day, the reason for the 6, noon, and 6 is because you have to get up in the morning. And so that requires discipline in order to do that. So the main thing that we discovered is it doesn't have to be that. It's just that we recommend that because it's a traditional practice that has been very beneficial for people. But what we discovered is it's that that practicing self-denial each and every day in something. It doesn't have to be anything big. Even if it's just like every day I'm going to stay away from some particular kind of food that I really like, or I'm going to cut down a little bit on how much I eat, or every single day I'm going to get up in the morning and I'm going to do my prayers at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to do the Angelus, or I'm going to do my prayers, or I'm going to say the Rosary every single day at a specific time. So we found that it requires just every single day, even just a little bit of self-denial. That discipline that they build up is the most effective means of their protection. Just because of the dynamics of the world today. I mean, obviously praying to Our Lady for protection and St. Michael and all those things are key and as well. But this is one of the things that people can do on their own to keep themselves protected. But then also, if people are under attack, what we have found is doing that on a regular basis. If it's kind of like if it's a diabolic obsession or oppression, or even just temptations and things of that sort. But if it's kind of lower level stuff, not possession, but if it's lower level stuff, we found if you do that on a regular basis over the course of time, it'll clear that out. So that's it's just that elementary discipline is the thing that we're promoting the most now. But obviously, leading a Catholic life, making sure you are always in the state of grace, making sure you're getting to mass on Sundays and holding obligations, you're getting confession on a regular basis. We were just talking before we started this. You just said the rosary, saying the rosary on a daily basis. Those are the types of things that keep us protected. And so, basically, leading an authentic Catholic life and staying out of mortal sin is your greatest protection.
How frequent do you recommend our viewers to go to confession, Father?
Well, historically, what they would always say is that if you're getting to confess, if you're not falling into mortal sin, getting to confession once a month is what they used to recommend. That was back in the 1950s, 1940s, at least here in the United States. I think that was kind of a general recommendation worldwide in a lot of places. But I think this thing has gotten a little bit more difficult to, to maintain your Catholic identity and practice and staying strong in a world that's getting worse and more evil and more disordered and more secular and all of that.
Yes.
I usually recommend a little bit more if you're struggling with mortal sin, even more. But a lot of times the people that are my spiritual directees, they will often go to confession once a week, not because they're committing anything seriously bad, but just because the sacramental graces help them to advance more rapidly in the spiritual life. So usually I think it just depends on the particular person where they're at in their spiritual life. But if you're staying out of mortal sin, a minimum of once a month. If you're falling into mortal sin, you get to it more frequently or get to it as soon as you fall, as soon as you can. But then, but if you're trying to advance your spiritual life, once a week and once every 2 weeks, that's just my recommendation.
Gusto mo bang magkaroon ng early access? Kumbaga, ikaw yung unang makakapanood ng mga na-interview ko mga guests dito sa ating programa na Istoryang Katoliko. Magagawa mo yan mga ka-faith by joining my Patreon group. Kasi sa ginagawa ko na pag-i-interview ng mga different guests dito sa Pilipinas at sa ibang bansa, actually hindi ko pa talaga siya na-edit at na-upload agad. Marami pa akong backlog kasi nga I'm a one-man team dito sa ginagawa ko. So most of the time, ako talaga nag-e-edit. Actually, ako talaga nag-e-edit ng lahat ng mga interviews at mga vlogs dito sa channel na to. As much as I want, na after ko sila ma-interview, ay ma-upload ko na. Hindi ko po yung magawa kasi kailangan natin i-edit at pagandahin pa yung interview sa paglalagay ng mga slide and information na very relevant at mas makakatulong pa sa inyo. Pwede nyo siyang ma-access by joining my Patreon group. Once na natapos ko na yung interview, i-upload ko kagad dyan sa ating Patreon group ang mga pre-recorded interview. At alam nyo mga ka-faith, sa pag-join nyo din dyan sa ating Patreon group, ay matutulungan nyo ko dito sa ating ginagawang online evangelization. Alam nyo naman na itong ginagawa natin ay hindi libre. May mga cost tayong ginagastos, mga ginagamit natin, yung pamasahe, pagpupuntahan natin yung mga ini-interview ko na face-to-face, and etc. In due time, I'm planning to build a studio, a home studio. Malaki talaga ang cost at gagastusin dito. Kaya mga ka-faith, by joining my Patreon group, mas matutulungan nyo ko na mapa-improve at mas mapaganda pa at mapagpatuloy pa itong ginagawa natin na online evangelization. Di lang kayo magkakaroon ng early access, kundi matutulungan nyo din ako dito sa ating online evangelization. Kumbaga, you will be my partner in doing this. Kung wala kang gifts na ginagawa ko, magsalita, mag-interview, pero may capacity ka to help me in this mission, ay magiging mag-partner tayo. Ako gagawa ng pag-i-invite, pag-i-interview, but at the same time, alam ni Lord na you help me and you've been partnering me with this mission. Kaya mga ka-faith, para maka-join ka dito sa ating Patreon group, ilalagay ko yung link kung saan mo pwedeng ma-access itong Patreon group na to. May cost siya, may konting babayaran ka lang, pero yung magiging benefit naman yan sa'yo spiritually ay sobrang overload. Thank you so much and God bless.